Valley of the Dead, Netflix movie, will unleash Nazi zombies. Netflix is unleashing the undead once again, in an upcoming original movie titled Valley of the Dead, which the streaming service announced today, for a summer premiere. Spanish horror movie Valley of the Dead bites into Netflix, on July 11, 2022. In the film, during the Spanish Civil War, a small group of sworn enemies must work together when they encounter flesh-eating zombies, created in a Nazi experiment. Javier Ruiz Caldera and Alberto del Toro directed Valley of the Dead, aka Malnazidos, which Netflix describes as being a violent and irreverent horror military movie. The cast includes Mickey Esparp, Aura Garrido, Luis Callejo, Alvaro Cervantes, Jesus Coroza, Daphne Spaldus, Sergio Torrico, Manuel Lunel, Wat Gazuan, and Maria Botto. The Black Phone Joe Hill on the movie's faithfulness. The Dead are calling in director Scott Derrickson's Sinister, Doctor Strange, new horror movie The Black Phone, arriving in theaters on June 24, 2022. The film's screenplay is by Derrickson and M.C. Robert Cargill. Doctor Strange, Sinister franchise, based on the award-winning short story by Joe Hill from his New York Times bestseller, 20th Century Ghosts. Ahead of the film's release, Bloody Disgusting chatted with the best-selling author about the adaptation and how Derrickson and Cargill transformed his short story into a visual novel with heart. Hill also revealed a surprising personal rule of Tom Savini's that the Black Phone deftly bypassed, enticing him to create Ethan Hawke's The Grabber's mask. Fans of Hill's work and those familiar with the original short story might find themselves surprised at how faithfully the Black Phone adheres to the essence of the source material, while altering and expanding some of its brief details for a feature-length film. Hill explains how he, Derrickson, and Cargill contributed crucial yet different components to this crowd-pleasing adaptation. The first component, of course, is his source material. Hill detailed how Derrickson and Cargill shaped his story further. There were three main creative threads that were braided together into the film. Hill begins our conversation. Scott and Cargill use everything in the story, every line of dialogue, every scene. It's all there on the screen, but that's only about 40 minutes of the film. They needed more, and they found more. There's this very autobiographical story about growing up in the violent 1970s out in the Midwest. It's a story that reflects on Scott's childhood memories, and it moves with a kind of pinpoint emotional precision. It uncovers the time with forensic accuracy. He continues, there have been a lot of throwback movies that are set in the 1980s, and it's bubblegum-colored and Spielbergian. Scott wasn't interested in a nostalgia trip. That's not really what he does with The Black Phone. He insists that the times looked a little bit different to people who lived through them, and I think he got it right. I think, in part, he gets it right because he shows such emotional restraint, understands what every scene is supposed to do emotionally, and makes sure it delivers that. So, that's what Scott brought to it. It comes uniquely from his heart. Then Cargill looked at the short story and said, it's the ultimate horror movie escape room. It's a puzzle box. How does he get out? The author explains, the iconic mask was designed by Tom Savini, whom I met as a child and have renewed my friendship with as an adult. Tom told me it was a personal rule with him never to work on a film that exploited children as victims. When he read the script for The Black Phone, he said, I'm in, because it isn't exploitive, because it presents these kids as a tribe, a gang, like the Goonies, and it insists on the richness and value of their lives and gives them back their strength. If the movie works emotionally, that's a big part of it, as well. If the talk of tenderness and Goonies references gives pause, don't worry. Hill promises the horror balances the heart. I don't want bloody disgusting readers to get this wrong. The movie's going to scare the pants off you. That's absolutely the goal, but it has heart. That's nice because there are a lot of horror films that I love, that probably you love that are, let's face it, basically gory, slapstick. They're a good time. You don't really care about any of the people who the slasher is going after. Every time someone's killed, you're actually laughing because it's so corny. There's a place for horror movies like that, but it is nice when they can tap something richer. Nope featurette looks at the massive scale of Jordan Peele's third horror movie. It's a bigger adventure than I've ever tried to tell, Jordan Peele describes Nope in a brand new featurette released by Universal today, the video fittingly titled, It Takes a Village. Filmed with IMAX cameras, Peele's Nope is set to be a horror event that will surely serve as a highlight of the summer. Whet your appetite with the new featurette below. Universal will be releasing Nope in theaters on July 22, 2022. The film is being referred to in official press materials as a new pop nightmare and an expensive horror epic. In the film, residents in a lonely gulch of inland California who bear witness to an uncanny and chilling discovery. Daniel Kaluuya, Get Out, will be re-teaming with Peele on the mysterious movie, with the cast also including Steven Yeun, The Walking Dead, Mayhem, and Keke Palmer, Scream. Michael Wincott, The Crow, Barbie Ferreira, and Brandon Perea also star. Nope is part of a 5-year exclusive production partnership, Universal Pictures, Inc. with Peele and his Monkey Paw Productions, and it's been described as a horror event. Mind you, anything from Peele at this point is instantly an event, but we can probably expect Nope to be Peele's biggest movie to date, with an announced IMAX optimization. On that note, the film's cinematographer is Hoyt van Hoytema, whose previous work includes Let the Right One In, Spectre, and the Christopher Nolan films Interstellar, Dunkirk, and Tenet. John Carpenter's The Thing reportedly made $500,000 in theaters. Fathom Events brought John Carpenter's The Thing back to theaters this past Sunday night, and though the first night of the two-night event was something of a disaster, for starters, the film was presented on the big screen in the incorrect aspect ratio. Fathom Events is making things right for the second wave of showings, taking place tonight, June 22nd. But first let's back up a bit. Even if the presentation wasn't great, how did The Thing perform in theaters this past Sunday night? Well, the 1982 horror classic ended up cracking into the box office charts for the entire weekend in the number 9 spot, IndieWire reports, scaring out right around $500,000. That's from the film playing in just 730 locations across the United States on a single night, with only one showing at each of those theaters. That's pretty damn impressive. While it may be considered a beloved horror classic today, Carpenter's The Thing wasn't quite a hit back in 1982. Negative reviews at the time led to The Thing making $19.6 million during its original theatrical run in North America, with the production budget reported to be $15 million. It was considered a flop back then, subsequently hurting Carpenter's career. Here we are 40 years later, and The Thing is still putting asses in the seats. Time has been kind to the film, rightfully considered one of the very best horror movies of the 1980s. If you missed it this past Sunday night, you can see Carpenter's The Thing back on the big screen, nationwide tonight, June 22nd. Get your tickets now through Fathom Events. Featuring jaw-dropping practical effects from Rob Bottin, The Thing starred Kurt Russell, Keith David, and Wilford Brimley, unleashing a monstrous nightmare at Outpost 31. In the film based on John W. Campbell Jr.'s short story, a research team in Antarctica is hunted by a shape-shifting alien that assumes the appearance of its victims. Set in the winter of 1982, at a research station in Antarctica, a 12-man research team finds an alien being that has fallen from the sky and has remained buried in the snow for over 100,000 years. Soon it is unfrozen and unleashed, creating havoc and terror as it changes forms and becomes one of them.